everybody, welcome to ReTheater's YouTube channel and to our Tech Talk preview with Aaron Alonso. Every other month we come to you with a Tech Talk with a professional in the theater industry who's going to talk to you about a technical theater aspect, because guess what? We all could use a theater person or a technical person in our back pocket, because tech is crazy unless you're a tech person, and then you're like, this is super easy.
I'm a tech person, and I think it's crazy.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, we are going to come. This is a part of a two-part series. This is part one. And on January 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific, Aaron Alonso is going to be hosting our first Tech Talk of 2019, talking all about production management. So in this two-part series, we're going to give you an introduction to what production management is and how it can be used in your program. And then on the 26th, you can join us for a live conversation with Aaron, where he's going to give you his tips of how to put together an amazing rehearsal schedule and how to organize your production so that you have more ease in your life. So why don't we just jump in? So Aaron,
okay.
You know, production management, it's kind of a weird term. I don't hear it all the time, especially coming from the school theater world and the community theater world.
Yeah.
What the heck is a production manager?
Yeah, that's a fabulous question.
Yeah.
And when I first became a production manager, I didn't even know what it was.
We should probably pause on this, because I didn't actually properly introduce Aaron. Aaron is the production manager at Village Theater Kids Stage in Everett, Washington. So yeah, he's like legit. This isn't just like some random person I found on the street. So yeah, Aaron, thank you for joining me as a production manager.
My pleasure.
So yeah, so you didn't even know what a production manager was at the beginning. That's great. Tell us what you figured out.
It was very strange, but I'm going to preface really quickly that production manager, the term, is like can vary based on like where you are in the world.
Yeah.
Like our definitions are kind of ambiguous.
Okay.
And it also kind of depends on how big your organization is, whether you're thinking of like big regional theaters, like, you know, La Jolla Playhouse, the Fifth Avenue Theater, ACT, versus, you know, youth education programs such as Kid Stage, or other youth programs out there, or even, of course, you know, the world of academia. Like this term can kind of vary, and the job duties can fluctuate as assigned. But ultimately, my definition of a production manager is being kind of the catch-all in a way. But the goal of a production manager is, as the title suggests, you're managing your production. So that way, everyone else around you, everyone else that you're collaborating and working with, can do the job that they are ideally supposed to be doing. So like, if you're the director, you can actually direct the show. If you're a designer, you can actually design the show and not worry.
Not like do ticket sales or
correct. There's
do all your marketing.
There's like other people to do that, and the production manager is kind of at the forefront in managing that.
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
No, that sounds amazing, and I think if you're watching this and you don't have a production manager, you're probably like, wow, that sounds like a magical dream job that I wish I had. And
it's a real thing.
Yeah. So I think that also, one of the things as theater makers, right, I think we all have this scarcity mindset. That there is never enough to go around, and there's never enough people, so I have to do everything. And I've definitely been there. I had that definitely with Introspect when we started that company out back in 2009. I can't even say 20 anymore. Oh my gosh. So that scarcity mentality. But what ways could a production manager help really alleviate stress from a program if you don't already have one in place?
Yeah, like the concept of a production manager, like the purpose is to pretty much take anything that isn't necessarily artistic away. So anything administrative, anything managerial, that production manager takes that on. So that way the people who are meant to produce the show, your director, your choreographer, your music director, your designers, your shop foremen, your carpenters, your marketeers, I guess, can actually do their job. Because it's amazing how quickly those small mundane things, like collecting bios for the program, making sure that we're staying on budget, as rudimentary as that sounds, making sure that, you know, like the ticket packages make it to the box office, so that way they can actually sell the tickets to the public.
Important.
You know, like those types of things can bog anyone down so quickly, because they're small minutia things that add up so quickly. Like there's so many things that even like as a production manager now, like I can't necessarily rattle off the top of my head the things that I do, but they're instinctual. But, like when you're in the moment and you're working, like oh yeah, I remember now. I do this and I do this and I do this. But could you imagine having to throw all of those small things onto a director as well?
Right.
Like that takes a lot of mind space to do.
Right, and I bet a lot of you watching do that. I bet the tasks, if I had to guess, that a production manager would normally do are the things that wake us up at 2 o'clock in the morning and we're like, oh shoot, did I call the news channel to get that media spot?
Correct.
Did
I get that press release?
Did I get a press release? Did I contact the school to let my kids out? Did I contact the parents to organize the potlucks during tech week?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Like those are the things that a production manager would take care of.
And those are like smaller examples for sure, but there's definitely some more systemic things that can be taken away from like the directors and the designers and fall specifically under production management. Like I mentioned budget earlier and we were kind of laughing it off, but
right, but it's huge.
Like you have to stay on budget. So it's like, okay, scenic designer, you have $1,500 to play with. Like you have to stay within this.
Oh my gosh.
You can go over, but just know that we have to cut somewhere else.
And
you know, like that's one example.
I love that example. I think the budget thing it didn't hit me until you gave that exact example. Guys, how much more awesome would your life be if you didn't have to be the bad guy to everyone?
It's my job to be the bad guy.
There you go. Yeah, like your students already think you're a horrible person, or you're, you know what I mean? Like I call it a bona fide crusher of dreams at all times as a director, whether it's at a school or in a community theater. You're always crushing someone's dreams. But wouldn't it be nice if you did not have to take that responsibility to do that with the team members that you're working with?
Correct.
So that you guys can actually just be a team. And if so-and-so, the set designer, goes to Aaron and he's like, man, you are at budget and that's all we've got, that they come to you and just like are like, grumble, 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 not you're a horrible person and ruining this production.
Right. It's like having someone be kind of like the pseudo checks and balances is really helpful, especially if your production teams are big. And so it's like, and for musicals, they can be. You have a director, a choreographer, a music director at minimum. Yeah. And then you have 5 designers, scenic, costumes, lights, props, and sound. You probably have stage managers as well. So that's a team of what? At least 10 people?
Oh, yeah.
And they probably work with other people as well. Of course, the directors work with the actors. The designers work with their carpenters and their stitchers and their lighting technicians. Stage managers work with their assistant stage managers. There's so many people who report under them that you are now inadvertently like indirectly supervising as well. So it's like having someone else do that and keep track of it as their full-time job can help keep everyone honest, can keep everyone on track, but most importantly to keep you all moving forward to the finished product opening night, especially when you know that you can't move opening night.
No, right.
No matter what, the show has to open.
You might want to, but too bad for you.
The show has to open.
Yeah. So, do you think that as a production manager, do you do the hiring?
It depends on where. I'm going to preface again. Yeah. It depends on where you, like, what organization you're talking to. Okay. In my position, I do. Okay. I have a lot of. With great power comes great responsibility, everyone. Right. But I'm in a very unique and really special I have a very unique and special opportunity where, in collaboration with my supervisor, I get a big say in show selection, in the production teams who I'd like to at least reach out to for interest and availability. I see like the possible students that can possibly participate in this program on stage and behind the scenes. But at least directly to answer your question, I do the direct hiring. So like ultimately once we have all of our directors and designers, I'm the one who's contracting them. I'm the one tracking to make sure that they get their paychecks on time. Yeah. Even though I'm not necessarily giving them their paychecks, I'm just making sure that they get them. Okay. And making sure that, everyone is contracted and is happily employed.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the reason I asked that is, so as you were talking, what came into my head was, first of all, I think a lot of directors might go, "What?" at your response because it is hard to give up that control, because that's a lot of control that you're giving up. But what I'm thinking is that potentially in a school setting or in a community theater setting, the production manager could do the hiring of the people like that are not like directly related with the production. So if you wanted to put together a team that did your marketing and a team that did like communications, they could hire that for you, and then you wouldn't even have to worry about it, because how many of us like stress about finding enough people
to
delegate
do anything?
That off?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So awesome. So I love this. So the last thing is, I'm curious. So obviously, I don't think that, and maybe I'm wrong, that you need to, depending on what tasks that you have your production manager doing, it sounds like a lot of organizational stuff.
Very much so.
And if you are not necessarily doing the artistic hiring as a production manager, is the production manager a role that a non-theater person can hold?
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely think so, because like I came at this job when I was first hired from the world of stage management. Granted, that's definitely another theater, another theater job.
Yeah.
But there is some artisticness in the world of stage management, but ultimately it's a job that is very managerial. It's very administrative. It's making sure that you're taking copious and very detailed notes. It's about creating schedules. It's making sure that other people are being held accountable and are on track. It's people managing. It's being a negotiator in chief. It's being, as I like to say, it's being, like pseudo producer. It's a lot of different things to keep track of.
So this is like, if you're watching, like, you could just like find a parent maybe that wants to take this on, and this would be a huge help for you, or just a community member or a board member.
I don't want to say like a production manager, like using that example, is kind of like a pseudo secretary. We're not we're not a secretary per se, but we're definitely like organizer to the max. I guess. Yeah, it's just making sure that like that person who has that position is able to just keep track of other things that other people don't necessarily need to keep track of.
Yeah.
Because once again, I'll go back to the fact that those small things can add up so fast and can bog anyone's work down.
Oh, yeah.
And can get anyone really, really stressed. So having someone just to literally take all of that and work,
that's their job.
and that's their job, then you can actually focus on your job.
Yeah, which that brings up my next question. So the last thing I want to touch on before we end this segment is, if you've sold them, they're like, oh my gosh, I need a production manager. I don't even know where to start. If they're going to put together a job description, what qualities would you suggest that they look for in a production manager?
Ooh, great question. The first thing I would recommend, it's not necessarily like interpersonal skills and
right.
It's not, I'm not going strictly to the job description.
Yeah.
My number one is to be omnipotent. Like how I look at this job is that you are the umbrella. You are creating the atmosphere that everyone is going to work under.
Got it.
And by doing that, you get to, of course, keep tabs on everything, but you get to be the, how do I word this? You get to be the, what's the word I'm looking for? You get to be very, not removed from the process.
Like big picture
You
focus?
are, yes, that's,
Okay. Awesome.
there's a better word for it too.
Yeah,
but
big picture.
But big picture. The point is to be big picture. Because there are other team members on your team who are meant to be the very specific.
Yeah.
Probably your director.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully.
But your job is to be kind of omniscient and to be kind of removed from the process. So that way you can be as observant as possible. So that way, if there is an issue, whether it's something small like we're running out of money or anything like that, or something more interpersonal that you have to deal with, you can be very objective and non-biased.
Okay.
So it's a way of kind of being level-headed in a way.
Yeah.
By removing yourself from the day-to-day.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that that's really awesome. Do you have any other tips for like things folks should look for as far as like skills or like things that are important in it?
Obviously organizational skills.
Awesome.
But of course, even then, like organization, it can vary based on like, oh yeah, I consider myself organized, and then you can't find anything, you know.
Right.
But that's your way of organizing. Yeah. So it's definitely having a level head. You can definitely have favorites, and you know, like you can have your own feelings dictate a choice or an answer.
Yeah.
But you need to be very democratic about it. You have to be able to take all the information in, distill it down to what you think is the best choice for your show. You have to check your ego at the door sometimes, and you just have to make the best decision, even if it's against what you want.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, that is just some general thoughts for you. If you have thoughts and you're like, oh my gosh, Aaron, I have more questions for you. Great. Go ahead. You can throw them down in the comments. Otherwise, I really encourage you to go to retheaterco.com, go to our educator section, click on Tech Talks, and sign up for our class with Aaron on the 26th. When you sign up, it is free. The month of January is totally free, so you can just come join us. The classes are pre-recorded, and you have the ability, not pre-recorded, excuse me, they are recorded live. So you have the ability, to submit questions ahead of time. So once you sign up, about a week or so before the class takes place, you'll actually get an email that's like, hey, do you have any questions that you want Aaron to answer? We will gather those questions, send them to Aaron, so that even if you can't join us when we're live, you still get your questions answered. But yeah, so I would recommend just go to retheaterco.com to find out more, and check back next week. We'll have our second installment of Production Management 101. Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
See ya.